And hold on, one more coming, and then we're good. All right, welcome, Groomers Cut. All of us are here tonight. Yay! Yes. We are all here tonight. So we are all here to talk about, well, first, welcome, everybody new. We're thrilled to have you. If this is your first time watching us, please give Facebook permission through StreamYard so that we can see your names in the chat. We are live on 9 platforms, and you might be watching on a platform not seeing the comments or the questions, so we will throw those out and follow all of those along. We'd like to start out. We're so thrilled. We have so many great viewers, so many watchers from all over now. We're going big, girls. Aren't we good?
And who all is going to be in Pasadena this weekend? Me.
No, you'll get to meet up. So I'm sure we'll have some viewers that are going to be there. So you'll have to go and chat with the ladies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In Pasadena, it's one of my favorite shows. It's where
it's
Michelle
a great one.
and I met.
It is a good one.
Really? You and Michelle met at Groom Expo West?
Well, we'd known each other for a year, but had never met in person. And
oh my gosh.
We were still trying to arrange what we're doing now at that time. And
wow.
We finally met face to face after being friends for a whole year and making plans and doing things and discussing what our futures are going to be like.
You know, and I'll bet that story is legion in our industry. People meeting at conferences and making these connections and taking them in exciting new directions. That probably happens all over the place, which is just that's why it's so good to be back in person with those events. Although I am going to go masked, even though I'm vaccinated, doubly vaccinated.
Doubly vaccinated? What does that mean?
I actually, because I got the Johnson & Johnson one and done. And then, started hearing all of the Delta variant is only 60% effective against it. Called my doctor. He said, go get the Pfizer. So I did. So I've done both.
I've had the one and the 2 Modernas. So
okay.
But I'm taking masks and I'm masking, just because it's California and they've changed up the mask regulations for LA County as well. So better safe than sorry. I'm just going to take mine, even though I really don't want to have to wear it. But it is what it is. It's the time that we live in. But
these variants are very serious, and it's good that everybody just be really safe, especially for me. I'm in.
You
my
have
60s.
a very sick mom. Yeah, but you have a sick elderly mother.
In the hospice.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. No can risk.
Yep. So what's our topic tonight, Miss Dara? I know we're business.
Well, we were going to talk about training and educating our team or staff.
Oh, one more thing I have to say. I have to bow out at the 30-minute mark because of an anniversary I'm celebrating with my oldest child. So, So I will be here. But training and educating the team. Go ahead.
Yes. So it could be onboarding, which is a big thing now, having good onboarding. And I think, Michelle, you are the queen of that.
Why don't you explain the concept of onboarding for our audience?
Do you want to do that, Michelle, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead, Dara. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for those, onboarding is a very precise training time for new staff coming in. So everybody is trained the same way. They all have the same understanding, the same knowledge, and they're getting everything the same so that everybody in your shop operates, or not just the shop, but anywhere. Everybody operates the same way. So it's not as big in smaller shops, but a larger, you're probably going to want to have some type of onboarding. That would be whoever your head, your main in charge, your general manager, or if it's yourself, this is how we do things. ABCDE, and you train right down the row so that you're doing it
When
consistently.
I was at the Atlanta Pet Fair and heard Melissa Verplank's amazing business genius husband Joe, what his website is something like Hey There Joe or something. Anyway, Joe Zagrella. He did an amazing thing on just managing employees. And one of the things he suggested that never occurred to me, because I hand my staff these duties and responsibilities for this particular job: groomer, front desk, daycare, bathing. And it's, detailed documents, 5 to 10 pages long. I also hand them an 80-page employee manual that has the history of the business and all of the legal stuff about sexual harassment and jury duty and days off and all that stuff. Sick leave policy, everything, tip pool, all that stuff. But, it never occurred to me until Joe said it in Atlanta that, the reason why when I'm having to say to them all the time, remember in the employee manual where it says X, and I even pay people an hour once they've signed a thing saying they've read the whole thing. I pay them an hour. Well, suffice it to say, it's true. People aren't reading. He said, young people don't read. They watch videos. So he suggested to us that we all make short little 2-minute, here's how you do this specific skill. Create a data bank in your computer where you have all of these little 2-minute, 3-minute videos specific to a very specific skill, and label them all very carefully in files and do it all via video. That was the best idea I'd ever had. I'm going to start doing that. It'll take me a while to get that up and running, but I'm going to do it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that is a good idea instead. But it's still, you can look at it as they're falling asleep in front of the computer watching. But kind of like what I do with the students when they come in is go over the catalog with them. And I sit there, do you understand this? Sign here. Does that, do you have any questions? Unfortunately, you treat everybody nowadays like that. And maybe that's a quicker way to do it. How many times do you bring somebody that you have to, how often are you changing things that those videos are be non-existent over how many months?
Yeah.
Change or, 2 or 3-minute videos you can do up quick, but when you're talking about your catalog, 80 pages, that's a lot for you and Belle.
Yeah, and 10 pages of it is history. I'm a history teacher, so I had to write the history of the business. It just felt like it went in there. And I wanted to make sure that I included every possible scenario and every possible situation. So,
and even though that there are exceptions to those as well. So,
yes.
Flexibility is important. So I just wanted to say that onboarding is a term that's bandied about here. And I just want to coalesce that for you. For those of you who are older, onboarding is what we would consider introduction or orientation. It's how you integrate your new employee or even a new client into your salon experience. So onboarding just means introducing it to the main core of values. So I think of the salon as an art installation because it is. We practice there, but we do art. We make art there. So it's an art installation. And so when you go to an art installation, and I'm going to the immersive Van Gogh here as it presents itself in Phoenix.
I did it 2 weeks ago. It was awesome.
I know. So
I haven't gotten tickets, but it looks amazing.
Awesome.
So when you think about an art installation that you visit and you become a part of, onboarding is introducing you into that experience. So I'm sure there's a docent or a hostess or somebody that gets you prepared to walk through the exhibit. It's the same way for someone when you develop a client. When you get a new client, you onboard them into your salon. You say, this is what our expectations are. This is how many times you're supposed to come and visit us. These are the products that we're going to use for your dog, on and on. So onboarding is like orientation. For anybody that's new to your art installation, because
so it's not the details. Then it's a general, like first, like if you're
Yes,
walking into a house, it's the
like the
front hall,
walkthrough.
it's not the room.
Yes, it's it's the rooms too, but it's just an introduction to everything. So
and then onboarding, the general consensus of onboarding means that you help integrate that employee or integrate that client. So that is when you introduce your employee manual. It's when you introduce the culture, the mission statement, the code of ethics. If you have retail, you introduce the people, the client, and the new employee, what the retail's about. What do you sell? Why do you sell it? Why is it important? Why are we selling it? All those things are important. So that's what onboarding is. It's just a new term, a modern term for orientation. Okay?
I like that. It's good.
All right.
I'm making notes here.
All right.
And I'm eating hummus.
And Dara, I don't know if you know this, but your internet is very spotty. You're cutting in and out pretty badly.
Oh my gosh, I am at full service here. What the heck?
You're doing the max headroom.
Yes. It is
I see it in my corner, but I am like at full connection right now. And if I disconnect, I'm going to lose it. So I can take myself out if you want.
No, I don't. I'm just saying it's
just spotty. That's
you're
all.
Pixelated and your voice is cutting in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle, what do you do? And Melissa, what do you do to onboard your staff?
So I take them and they spend just a day shadowing me. If they are an advanced stylist, I'll probably just go give them maybe 2 or 3 dogs and let them work it out through the day. Give them dogs where there's no time limit, so they can just kind of work through the process of the salon itself, find out where everything goes. I do give them the handbook, the salon handbook, and all the protocols of all our equipment, so they know how to use everything. And then we go, after a week, I go over and check off all the things that they still need help with and make sure that they know how to do that. If I introduce mixology, we mix the shampoos back there in big vats before it gets diluted. Mm-hmm. So that we can pour it into our little handheld things. So, all those things, they learn how to measure out all the ingredients that go into our 5-gallon. So that's how I introduce them to mixology, if you will, of shampoos and products. And then we just go from there. And then you have to revisit all those people all the time and make sure that everybody's comfortable. Do they need anything? Is there anything they don't know how to do? If I find an employee that is constantly saying, "Oh, I don't want to answer the phone because I don't know how to take the appointment," then I make them do it all day. Because, and not to be mean, but if you don't know how to do something, you need to learn how to do it. So, I go over and they're like, "I'm sorry, well, I'm flustered," and blah. I'm like, "That's all right. We got all day. I have all day for you. If I'm investing my time in you and my emotion and my skills and my energy into you, then I've got all day for you. I've got all day. You don't have to hurry up, do it. Hopefully your skill level is up where I need it to be. But if it's not, then there are still things that you need to learn so that you can improve and grow. You should grow."
I love my friend Kat Samard, who said, how do you use onboarding in a sentence? By the way, Kat and she's my date Saturday night for the ball at the St. Louis Groom Fest. I'm going from Pasadena to St. Louis this weekend. I'm going to do both conferences in one weekend. And Kat's my date Saturday night for the ball in St. Louis. So at the St. Louis Groom Fest. So yay, Kat, we're going to pick out something fancy to wear. But how do you use onboarding in a sentence? It sounds to me like, since I'm just learning about this term, would this be something that you would only use as a phrase to another employer to describe what you're doing? Like this is my onboarding.
It's a corporate term.
Don't use that. You don't say I'm now onboarding you. Right. I would just say, I'm going to tell you about
Here's
the business.
Your orientation. Welcome. Welcome to your first day or whatever. Yeah, onboarding is a term much like human services. You don't say, go to the he felt you up place. It's human services. You know what I mean? Or I'm having a problem with an employee division. They call it human services. So intake and the integration of employees and different departments is called onboarding.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a term that you use. I always thought of it as, I've never been on a cruise, but you board a boat, and usually when you board the boat, even though I've never been on a cruise, but I watched lots and lots of Love Boat. And so I know that you meet captain and you meet staff and you know what I mean? And that's what onboarding is we're taking you aboard our boat. This is our ship.
Oh, good analogy.
So that's how I always looked at it. And, it's a process. It's not really a thing. It's has many working parts.
Yeah. And be different on board for Michelle had said, for different areas of your business. Or in the first place, you'd have a separate one for your daycare versus the boarding versus grooming shop, or even your front end.
Yeah, it depends on the size of your business, how many employees you have, what your infrastructure is. For Jennifer, you have one store and however many employees at any given time. So when you onboard
13.
Okay. So you would let the rest of your staff know, Melissa's coming today we're going to go through the onboarding process with her. Just be available to answer any questions if I'm not right there, kind of thing. And so
that's what I do. I have to say, this is really bad that I'm so busy grooming, which I really need to not be so that I can be better for my staff and for my clients. I'm so busy grooming that I usually am not. I usually do a very brief orientation, and I can see now just from this conversation that I need to do this differently. But I usually do pass them to a mentor. I assign
That's what I was going to say. If you're delegating to people that you know and trust that can carry out what your processes are, then there's no reason for you to have to do it. If you're also, you wear many hats. You're a single business owner. You're a sole proprietor. So that's the way that goes. When I worked for a large chain, I would have mentor. I would have the salon manager. That was part of their job description. Was to assist with the onboarding. But if you foster a team spirit, if you foster whether you have 13 employees, you have 2 employees, or I've had up to 500 groomers underneath me. And so, but that was always a big thing for me, was that we work together as a team. So that way it's never, I only do this. And this is, I delegate because somebody may have a better way of doing things. And it also helps me gauge my employees to how committed they are to the process, to the business, to the mission statement, and so you can always say, there's no I in team, but truthfully, the bigger your team is, the harder it is to get that cohesiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my facility, I designed it specifically for the well-being of the dog. So I have a separate room for drying, a separate room for bathing, and a separate room for haircutting. And they are all in separate rooms behind closed doors and, somewhat soundproof of each other. And it is what I have found about that is that while it's good for the pets in the process, it's not good for the staff. I don't think it's good for the staff that people are so separated in those functions.
Yeah, I like an open concept salon because if you need help, we're right there. It's better. And you learn to flow so that you don't create chaos in the finishing room. And that's where most of the chaos happens. And you're trying to do all your fine scissoring. The dogs are off or whatever. So if you can separate those places, yet have a view, an open concept view of everybody so that everybody still feels a part of the team rather than I get stuck back here bathing or, I'm
Yeah.
stuck
Right.
here in this little room.
If I had it to do over again, I would do it differently. I would put more large windows instead of walls, and we do have windows at the doors between the rooms. But in this day and age of high velocity dryers, open concept is hard. You would have to separate that off in terms of the noise somehow, especially because we're drying.
Yeah,
Dryers are running, at our shop
definitely.
from 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, or 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So
Yeah, we have a little drying room that's enclosed, but it's got a big, huge picture window, so you can see every single person that's in there,
That's
and it's vented so that as the humidity and air, it gets pushed back into the bathing room, and then we've got one of those real fancy humidifiers that will suck the water
moisture
out of the desert.
air.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's pretty decent. But when we get going, it still gets loud. But it's still better because I've got all levels of stylists in the salon at any given time. And somebody's going to need help with something. I would much prefer for one of my staff to stop and help another staff member rather than say, you just got to take care of it. You got to get it. You got to do it on your own. You got to learn how to do it. No, you don't. I think you need to learn how to work as a team and learn how to get the dogs done in a safe and healthy way for everybody concerned. So I think that the culture itself is changing in a salon and what it means to work in a salon as opposed to mobile, which is its own beast.
And if I could just, because I do have to bow out early tonight, I just wanted to, that's so great. I got to come visit you one day, Michelle. I would love to see your shop. All of you are going to get a visit. But one of the things I did want to ask on this topic is this idea of continuing education. And I just toss it out. I am paying sacrificially. It's hard on the business's finances, but I'm paying to send all of my groomer and groomer trainees to the All-American here in Chicago. That's here, it's our home city. We're lucky to have a major national conference in our.
I was going to say, you're lucky that you're close to it because you have to get hotels.
Right. Well, for us, it's just an admission price, so it's nice. But I do close the shop. We lose thousands of dollars. We close the shop and we send everybody. And this is what we do for our continuing ed. We also, in January, have a half-day in-service where we meet some state requirements on sexual harassment, which is a mandatory thing in Illinois. Every year you have to do. And then we also do just more training. This year I did a whole 2-hour thing on first aid. So a couple of times a year we'll stop and very deliberately do continuing education. But what do you all do for staff training?
We also do that. We also we used to go to Pasadena every year. This last year, it was what it was, and so we're getting into the flow of that. And we've even introduced some ideas of maybe going to do some behavioral training with some dog groomers or some dog trainers, and get a little bit outside the box and try to bring all those pieces home, so to enrich our experience. One thing I will say, that if the business is paying for that, then you probably should require, depending on the level of the people that you're sending, you should say, I'm going to require you to go to this class and this class and this class. And then, you will have a lot of free time, but these are the classes I think you would benefit. You are allowed to do that because you are paying for training is what you're doing.
Yes.
It's not
I am going to do that. I don't want people to go and take a creative grooming class when it's up against a very important class. Not that I'm against creative grooming, but we just don't offer color in my salon. So I send people down the street to April Perry, who's way better than I could ever be anyway. So we don't offer that service. So that's good to know. It's a good thought. I was going to recommend some things, but now I know I can require. So
we also do we also have a program called Meet You Halfway. And if you want to go and get your master certification, your master groomer, certified master groomer, we'll pay for half, because we have found in the past we would pay for all of it, However, I don't think you appreciate something that's been given to you as much as if you contributed to it. So we beat you like taxes, is what we like to say. we meet you halfway, and we'll pay for half. And when you're ready, you come with your half. We purchase your classes, and then you're off. So
great.
So I paid for the Fear Free, and did the IPG level 100 for everyone. Lori, who's my manager for entire program.
You're talking about the Certified Professional Groomer, the CPG. Yeah.
And Lori, I did all the way through for Lori as a manager, as my general manager. So she'll get that. For the shows, I pay them an hourly. They're at the shows too, because they're still growing, because I'm requiring them to go, so they get their hourly pay. And if they're traveling, and I took everyone to. We went to when we met you, Jennifer.
Pasadena.
Well, yeah, so there's 4 of us that went, and that was a small group, but now we have a lot more. So, and they're all going to Dallas and paying it all. So, but yeah,
see,
I mean,
I'm squeeing over Dallas. That'll be my first. I'm squeeing already.
I know, me too.
Excited for Dallas.
We haven't been together in person, all of us, and we'll miss you, Melissa.
Nope.
Would got to carry on in New York. Yeah. I will be in both New York and Dallas. But
if I didn't have so many classes, I would definitely break away like you, Jennifer. But I have too many.
You have too many, and now I get it. Well, we will be holding you close in spirit. I got them to move me to one big class on Thursday instead of a Thursday, Friday, possible Saturday thing at Intergram. So I got them to move me, and I thought that's just wonderful. I'm so excited about us being together in Dallas as well. And I might as well take this as the moment to say I'm going to celebrate my child.
So enjoy.
So much love to you all, and carry on, and I will see you soon.
Right.
See you later, Jennifer.
So I know probably a lot of people are asking how we afford to pay for all that when you're closing down, you're not bringing in business income. And it's just like for what I do is I have a separate account that's money goes right into that every day. I just transfer a little bit every day, $20, $30, $40, $100, however much. And that's how I do. So I can cover vacation time also. There's a separate account for vacation time, and that money's there so that it's going in throughout the year, and they need it, I have it. So that's how I operate as an owner, with having multiple accounts to be able to squirrel away the money as needed, and then I'm missing it as much as, oh my gosh, so-and-so's going on vacation and now I'm scrambling. I know I've been saving that nest egg. Part of it, Michelle, you kind of gave me an idea for, and you had said before, walk-in nail trims. Use that as that goes to the house, and that becomes so everyone contributing as well to pay for some of those things, or every day lunch, or whatever it is. That's another good way to be able to say, okay, well, I'm just going to put $15 aside every day, and over time that builds up quick. And are you really going to $15?
A lot of the times we don't realize how much money we bring in tips. And some tips are so liquid. We just don't realize it. And because they come so easy, sometimes we spend them carelessly. I know a lot of groomers who are just like, well, it was a tip, so whatever, it doesn't matter. However, I believe that it does. So we're on a program, we're sending 2 of our stylists to get their master certification. And they have envelopes that they'll contribute. And when they get up, when the outside of their envelope and the money equals inside their half, that's when, that's their goal. So they set aside however many tips per day and then feed that envelope. And before you know it, it's crazy. I used to save all my tips from Thanksgiving to Christmas every year. And then I'd buy a big ticket item, a new dryer, whatever big ticket item I needed. But I got enough tips to buy some fancy stuff every year. And I make a habit of it. And really, I do thank my husband. I know he'll never see this, but he's the master of helping me save and delegate money into certain areas. But he's great. And we put all the tips into a kitty now. And at the end of the year, we make big purchases with it. And that's something that you can do, especially for your education. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say on that. So if somebody leaves, how do you do that? Do you just go through and if somebody leaves, if you lose a...
if somebody leaves, that money is in their envelope. They take it with them.
Right. If you're pooling them. Didn't you say you pooled?
Oh, no. They each have their own money, their own name on their own money. Yeah. It's an in-store savings account.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, we don't pool their money. No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's the same thing that I've worked places where, everybody's tips get, so much of your tip gets put away so it can cover other things that we want to do and you have money, set aside. When I worked for a big box store, we also ran, I ran like contests, for groomers that wanted to go to the shows, because some groomers don't want to go to the shows, and some groomers don't, or just are in a financial situation where they really can't not be working for several days or whatever. And so, we would run this and say, okay, sign up who wants to do this. And then we would say, okay, whatever the promotion was. And then we would either meet half, we would either separate, like you guys are saying, put a certain amount of tips away. There was a lot of different ways that we would do it. But I think that any kind of program that encourages that also builds that camaraderie. So those people that are like, no, I don't want to go, or I don't want any continuing education, or I have absolutely no interest in learning anything new, those are the people that that are eventually going to fall behind, because the customer base is going to start, especially if your other groomers are starting to educate the customers. So then that groomer usually either leaves on their own accord, or you have to say, you know what, I'm sorry, but like Michelle said, you need to grow, and where everyone here is growing and evolving, and you're still just doing, a number 4 shave down, and you're not able to incorporate any of the additional things that we've learned. Excuse me, nor do you have an interest in it. And so if you make that clear from the get-go, I think a lot of your groomers will gravitate to you, because those that want those things are going to come your way. Those that are not looking for that are going to be like, oh no, I don't want any part of that.
And that kind of segues into Tammy's comment. She says, I closed and paid for my staff to attend 2 full days of classes. Unfortunately, several didn't take advantage and skipped out on attendance. How do I prevent that from happening again in the future? I would take a sign-up sheet, and those who do want to go, pay for them, and don't pay for the people that don't want to go. However, you have in the back of your mind now the ones that aren't going to take advantage of these educational opportunities. So, sorry to say it, those are people that I would really think about long-term working out of the salon if they're not going to participate in growth, because the business has to grow.
Sorry.
So each individual has to grow, so the team can grow and the salon can grow. It's for the health of the whole store. So not just each individual. You're as strong as your weakest link. And if you have somebody that's stubborn and doesn't want to grow, how are you going to feed her dogs? How are you going to separate? Oh, you want a poor quality groom? We'll send you over here. You know what I mean? How do you even do that?
Right.
So, yeah,
everybody's got to fit in with your ideology for your entire business, even if they're mobile. Even if you're running a house call business, you have more than one groomer that works for you. It doesn't matter the structure, what do you call that? The overhead structure. You know, what really matters is that you have the staff that wants to participate. Yes. Or you could do it rotationally. I know I've done that before. You know, okay, we're going to do this for Pasadena. We can only do X amount of people. So the next people that are going to go will go to Super Zoo, or, you know what I mean? Or whatever, and divide it up so that, so that people get a chance. Like, you went last year to this one, but you didn't get to go to this one. So.
And on the flip side of that, really think about the people that skipped out on attendance. First of all, what classes did you buy? Are you sparking their interest? Within one salon culture, you can have specialists of everything. You can have somebody who loves to do coloring creative, somebody who's a really strict breed standard type of person, somebody who is more relaxed with those natural coats, somebody who does Asian fusion. So, I mean, if you try to spark that joy in, to borrow a phrase, in your employees, so that you find out, maybe offer the ones that didn't want to attend those classes, maybe offer classes that they're interested in. So it gives you an opportunity also to know your clients or know your employees. Get to know them a little bit better. Where do they really want to grow? Well,
I think she's also wondering, how does she make them go and take the attendance? And what I've done in the past for that is I have kind of kept people, and even with students that go to shows with me, I try not to send multiples to class and try to get an array of classes. And sometimes everybody wants to take the same class. But if you're sending people out to this class and that class and over here and over there, and you're over here and you're showing and doing this, well, at the end of the night, we sit down for dinner, and I'm going to pay for dinner, and we're going to talk about all the classes everybody took. And that's where they're held accountable, because they have to bring notes back and share with everybody else in the salon. It's not everybody was going to each individual class. So I'm going to ask Penny, we covered a lot in that one question to answer the question. And then
I don't think you can prevent it from happening in the future. I think that you'll find out who wants to grow and who doesn't. Right. And I think that if you do offer them, hey, I'm going to close down the salon, so either you can, catch some R&R, a day off or whatever, or I'm paying for this training over here. Who wants to go? And the people who just want to take the day off, let them go, so that it reduces your overhead of taking the people that really do want to grow. So that is probably my best advice to give you in that situation. That's what I would do, And right below her comment is somebody said, "Yep, I just left the salon because they had no interest in helping me grow." So I mean, the younger groomers, the modern groomers who are coming up now, are actual professionals. Grooming is no longer a fly-by-night type of operation. We are professionals, and our young groomers, and even the older ones who are entering the workforce of grooming, they understand that this is a technical, professional profession. It takes a lot of information. It takes a lot of foundation to get to actually trimming dogs and dealing with clients and opening up a salon or being a good employee. So, I mean, take advantage of that. Be better.
Yeah. Oof. All right, next. We've kind of everything. Do we have any other questions there in our viewer land? Ooh, somebody's on your end.
That's Jade.
Okay.
Barking.
All mine are down here dying of hunger.
Yeah, they're not happy there. That's why I kept getting up, because I have the ceiling fan on here, and I don't know, little things are blowing around because I don't have my green screen up, and John has all his stamps and stuff out, and things have blown around, and I looked over and they had a bunch of his stamp stuff in their bed. So I was like, oops, let me get that really quick. Excuse me. So yeah. But I think that it's an important thing that when you talk about policies and business, onboarding and getting your staff educated and keeping them interested. I think that all those things are really good things, but before you do any of those, you have to come up with what your, what I like to call your ideology and your methodology are. What's your mission statement for your business? You know, what do you stand for? What do you want your people to, you know, your staff to know, so that when they're hit with those cantankerous people, you know, that want to be rude or just are totally, you know, out in left field and know nothing about grooming, or, you know, this is their first time getting the dog groomed, how do you want them to respond to that? Because that makes it easier for them to feel like they're part of a team when you actually have, you know, that mission statement, that thing that this is what we do and this is why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, you know, that's got to be your you have to have a good business, a foundation for your people. You can hand them an 80-page book, you know, with everything in it, which, I mean, you know, I'm sure Jennifer is extremely thorough and wants to make sure that they get every scenario and everything covered. But unless you are on a daily basis letting that, like, leading them by example and showing them and having the rest of the team lead by example, you can onboard as many people as you want. Mm-hmm. But for them to actually get it and know what, you know, I've worked with plenty of groomers that were like, were lost because the company I work for struggled with its ideology.
Just like just like they say in your interpersonal relationships, if you don't know who you are, how do you share that with someone? How do you bring them into your circle and in your culture and into your friendship if you don't even know who you are? So as a business owner, as a salon, there's a personality there. There's a culture. There's a way that you want to do things. There's a face that you want to present to your public. So when you have that picture in your head, then you can bring people in and show them what it is that you're about. So it's very important to establish your identity as a salon owner.
Yeah, and it's important to make sure that you stand by that, you know, and say, this is what we do. So if you say we don't shave double coats, and then you're like, but I shave, these are my old customers and I'll do this for them, or I'll shave in reverse for them because, you know, I've been doing it for so long. And you have to have that culture, you know, you have to create that across the board. We make exceptions for everything, you know, a matted dog, you know, all that kind of stuff. But overall, you can't, we see this a lot, you know, where somebody will say, this is how we do things. And then once you're in there, you realize that's really not how they're doing things. And everybody's just kind of left to their own devices. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why, as a business owner or a salon manager, it's really important that you understand the power of delegating and of motivating your team to help other people. Because
and just like Melissa was saying, even the ground rule. And let's take shaving double coats as an example. It's been beaten over and over again. That dead horse is long gone into the earth. However, let's take that as an example. Let's say you have a salon, you don't want to shave down double coats. Well, you flow chart that back so that you know what your exceptions are, because there will be exceptions to that rule. If it's an elderly dog, you know, if the owner is elderly and can't keep up with brushing, or however you want to flow chart it out. So that way, when she refers her other friend with the same kind of dog, she's like, well, Martha gets it done this way. Then you can actually explain, oh, Martha's dog gets this that I won't be doing with your dog today because this, and this, and this. So you have to back up what you're saying. We don't shave down dogs, but there are exceptions. So you could do anything like that. We don't do anal glands. These are the exceptions. We don't brush teeth. These are the exceptions. We don't pluck ear hair, but these are the exceptions. So all those concepts are part of your culture and are part of your identity as a salon. So all those little things really do have to be worked out. Where do you stand on those issues? That's going to define who you are as a business, define how you are as a service provider to your clientele and to other people colleagues that come and visit you, or future employees. If you're cohesive,
Right.
that's going to be a more comfortable environment to come in and work at than if you're all over the place. And we've all been in those salons before, that everything's all over the place and you're like, oh my God. And it's like that every day because all they're doing is putting out fires instead of
Right.
working like a well-oiled team that has a culture and a way of doing things that is best for everyone's health and overall well-being. So,
Yeah.
And you can't onboard people. You can't give an orientation if you don't have anything to orient them to.
right. Oh, just throw them in a tornado.
Yeah, right. Because, all of us have worked like that. We've gone to work somewhere and you're like, and they tell you, oh, we do this, 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 and this. And then you show up for work and you're like, holy crap. It's just chaos the whole time. So,
and instead of being thrown into a tornado, get thrown into a good game of double dutch, because when everything's working, you're high stepping and you're skipping that rope. Wow, I'm really dating myself, aren't I? So, Lisa asked
about suggestions on getting a shop owner to do continuing education. I would say, that's not your job, that's their job. I don't think anybody can make them do that if they're not willing to do it, but every shop hiring, you can absolutely entice them. Yeah. Do you want the salon to make more money? Do you want to offer an updated service? Do you want to know the things that we know? Heck, I'm even prepared for a whole staff that wants to go and be educated and bring it back to the owner. Because a lot of owners are like, you know what, I don't have time for that. If I've got a free weekend, I'm not going anywhere, because you're in the mix all the time. So it is really hard. However, you can just show them all the benefits by doing it yourself, and if they're willing to help you go to the expos or get education or whatever, take advantage of that. And then bring that back to your salon. And really, that's the best thing you can do. I've been in salons before where the owner's like, meh, whatever. I'm not changing. I'm booked out. I don't care. That's their salon. They get to say that all day long. That's theirs. At the end of the day, they get complete control over what they're doing there. However, you can entice them by saying, you know what, this shop could probably, up the percentage of profit per year by just doing this little service. Let's all learn how to do it, or whatever it is that you want to do. Lisa says, I put in the time and the money, but they just want me to tell them everything. If you're paying for it and they're not paying for it, just say, well, you should have been there. It was great. And then just go do your work. So, if they're just being lazy, that's one thing, but if they're truly busy, I would prefer to share the information myself. But if they're just going like, oh no, you pay for it and then you come back and tell me all about it, just give me the bullet points. Well, that's them just riding on your coattails, trying to get your education out of you. But that's a personal thing. That's probably an individual circumstance kind of thing, depending on how you would handle that. I don't know.
I don't know. Dara's still kind of going in and out.
Yeah. We've covered a lot of things. I can see it on my side too. So I don't know what's up with the internet here. We're having problems with the internet and cell phones. I think it's got something to do with subs that are in. Somebody told me that today. I was like, really? Did that really have that effect on them? We are an Air Force base and a naval base, and they've got 3 big submarines in right now. So
that could definitely have effect on your internet. But don't get me started with my conspiracy theories.
Wow. Okay, we won't.
Yeah.
Internet. So
mine was being crazy today too. That's why I jumped on when I did. I didn't even get my green screen up because it just kept bouncing out and it wouldn't connect and it was being nuts. So sometimes we just have that.
Tammy, yes, I agree. It is like a vacation to attend the seminars and get recharged. I agree. I think everyone who has never been to an expo before should at least go one time. Because it really does change your perception of what that's about. It's not just going and spending a bunch of money on a bunch of tools and stuff. although it is that. Let's just.
Yeah.
It is that. However, you get to put those things in your hand. You get to talk to the people that make them, so you can make better choices rather than just buying everything and having a drawer full of tools that we all have that we don't use, that we spend a bunch of money on. It is better to have held the tool in your hand. However, changing your perception, going there and taking a couple classes will change everything for the biggest skeptic. Because unless you've experienced that, you have never known the joy and that energy of all those groomers getting together and coming together and talking about dogs and hair and skin and scissors and it's an amazing opportunity. And if you've never been, you should go at least one time, especially to Dallas this year. Dallas would be a perfect introduction for you to come on down. The Pet Pro Classic needs you. It's in October. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And we have a booth, so we can shamelessly promote how great it's going to be. All right.
Well, for you, Trisha. Trisha's saying that she just opened hers.
Okay, I have groomed for 15 plus years, but I only just opened my own salon in March. I'm trying to learn to be the best business owner boss that I can. So many things to consider. Absolutely. Yep. It is a typhoon in your head. It really is. There's so many directions you could go. You know, what level of service do you want to give? What color paint do you want in your lobby? Like, there's some decisions.
You know what, though? I'm actually working with a girl, a consulting client right now. She's in North Carolina. She moved her business from another state, and she's having to onboard new staff because she can't handle all that is coming in, and she's daycare, boarding, and grooming, and daycare, boarding, and grooming. And one of the things is that she really doesn't want to expand any more, like to open a bigger, location or any of that. But she does still want to make things like passive income. She's still working on branding. She's still working on her marketing and what their ideology is. What made me think of that is that, she did this and she's a master groomer. She's, she has all these certifications, all this stuff. And so even though she's only been in business for, I think, 3 years at this location, she still has so much to consider and ways to work this business that suits her lifestyle and suits what she wants to achieve from it, because not everybody opens a business and then they want to have 27 locations. Or they want to have 50 groomers, some want just that one place that they feel comfortable that they could go and work with the people that they want around them. So Trisha, the fact that you've even stepped out to open your own business is a huge step, and you're going to have to, make these considerations over time. So try not to get overwhelmed because it's going to be a lot.
And the best way to do it, in my experience, is to, in my opinion, lay down your foundation. Lay down everything that you need to get everything working first. Tables, dryers, electricity, plumbing, water, the structure. Okay? Do that first, and then worry about the color, the this, the that, and the other. Right. Unless you have that space, that beautiful space of time that some owners do have to go in and really push their vision forward before they even open up, and then they have a grand opening. But you can have a soft grand opening while you're deciding all that stuff, while still taking in a few clientele, and then have a big grand opening when you're ready and all that other stuff is in place. So you can absolutely do it in stages. And there's such a thing called an open house. So if you've already had a grand opening, you can have an open house every year for client appreciation. Come in and get some free nail trims, get some punch, walk through the salon, see what it's like, have some demonstrations on dematting, like on and on. I could go on and on. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do.
There's a whole, that's why I said, don't feel overwhelmed because there's so much. And you should definitely get in touch with your Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
For your area. They offer a lot of different, depending on the area that you're in, they offer a lot of different things. They can help with your soft opening. If you want to do a soft opening, they can even help if you're going to do a big grand opening. Sometimes they're great to network with other people. A lot of like your realtors, your bank people, your local business people belong to them. So you can network with them if you're building a brand new business from the ground up. So there's a lot to consider for the new business owner that goes on until you're a seasoned business owner and you're still trying to do everything that you need to do.
As much as you can. Yeah.
So good luck to you, Tricia.
We did good tonight.
I have to wash my hair anyway. It's my do-rag on tonight.
Yes. Well, thank you for joined us this evening, and we are 55 minutes. We did good. We lost for halfway through, but we will be back on next week. And what was next week? I am in the wrong one. So let me see if I can find. I know it's on the educator page.
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
It'll be the holidays kid. It's not going to be a surprise.
Surprise!
It's not going to be a surprise. It is going to be. You want to roll it for me while I put it up with my
drum roll?
Halfway internet. Not even letting me go to it now. Here we go. All right. Right. Ooh, this one. Rights and duties of employees and employers.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a heavy duty.
The rights and duties of employees and employers.
Employers.
Yep. Is that what you said?
Yeah, but you're breaking up really bad. I don't think that they're getting a coherent.
All right.
I'm gonna start doing a sign language, right?
All right.
At this point.
All right. I'm not going to do final breakout, because it probably won't go then. So we'll call it a day, and hopefully I'll have better internet next week. But I'm going to work on it. If not, I will be in Massachusetts, and I'll do it from health department down in Massachusetts. So there, I'll have good internet.
And just let everybody know that if you do have questions that we couldn't address in our hour, as always, add them in Facebook after the fact or whatever platform that you're on, and we will absolutely answer them for you. We're here to help. We're here to grow with you.
And I actually offer consulting. I think Dara offers consulting. My consulting's different than Dara's. I try and do things organically, stay in that holistic bubble, so but I'm all business. Go to my website, and Dara also offers, business consulting of the more less woo-woo type. And so, but that's always available as well. So.
All right. Have a great night. I'm going to say my sign off for me.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us. We appreciate you.